This font is fine?
No, sir, I'm not able to. You can make it high. Okay.
Okay, fine. Are you sleepy?
No, sir. Just now I wake up then.
Okay. So because this is very important topic.
Yeah.
Okay. So see. So what happens is we have two. First we have app and we have content view. In our app, basically we have what does this mean in Swift? If I put anything after colon, what does it mean?
It's a interpolation.
Protocol,
Yes,
right?
protocol.
So basically I'm conforming to this protocol. So there are basically three protocols that you'll have to know. One is
Yeah.
the app protocol, okay.
Okay.
Second is the scene protocol, and
Okay.
third thing is a view protocol.
Okay.
Okay, so this is also if when as soon as you say, right, that you know basics of Swift UI, nobody is expecting you to be an expert because Swift UI is new. People are expecting you to have idea, okay.
Okay.
But you are expected to answer these questions like what is app protocol, what is, and if you remember, see, there is an @ min here also. This tells
Yes.
that this is the starting point of my application.
Okay.
Okay. So basically is my app protocol is basically that overall protocol in which I will have, so it is very similar to my app delegate where my overall app is going to be configured. Okay. Now, and that is going to be my starting point. Then I'll have scene and view. So scene is basically my, let's say, the window. So in my current UI kit also we have a window, and on top of that we develop application like single view or multiple view, right? So my window is nothing but scene, and each view or each screen that you are seeing basically in the when you launch the app, that is a view. And what
Okay.
I'm saying is, I'm just saying that in the starting point my application should have a should load a content view. And what is
Okay.
content view? Content view is nothing but a custom view. So let's go to the content view. This can be named anything, okay? It does not have to be content view. This is basically your product name only, okay?
Okay.
Now I'll go here. See, so content view is basically what it is conforming to, which protocol? Which protocol my content view is conforming to?
First one, app view.
View protocol,
View protocol. Yeah.
correct? So content view is the conforming to view protocol, and then basically what it is saying is whatever I do inside this, it will return a view.
Okay.
Okay, so in if whenever you will add a view protocol, right, it will ask you to create a body. Okay, you can
Okay.
see here. If you create a new view, right, let's say login view. Okay, and then what it, because I'm using a view protocol, it is asking me to same like table view we do, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will ask me, it is asking me that I'm not really conforming. I am telling that I will conform, but I have not added the required things. So what is the required things? Body, just like this one. Okay,
Okay.
so any view that I create, it needs to have a body. Okay,
Oh,
inside body I will tell that what do I need. Okay, so if you see here inside body, and there are, okay, so now we'll come inside this, but basically overall this is your content view. Inside body, inside here, inside this you are going to write your code. Okay,
okay.
okay, so this is done. Then we have something called previews in Swift UI. So this is something like you can just create your own preview with a preview provider. This basically conforms to a preview provider, and then basically this will have, just like it has body, it has previews. Okay, and then you can just put your view name. So if it was a login view here, I'll just say login previews. I'll conform to the preview provider, and I'll say, and this will be as is, and here I will say login view.
Okay.
Okay, so basically I this is it. Now let's go into how we'll be designing. So in Swift UI there are three things: V stack, H stack, and Z stack, or a Z stack. Okay, What is V stack?
Vertical.
Vertical stack. What does it mean?
In the vertical, we have the in the
Yeah.
label or something
Correct.
image.
You are right. So it will be
Vertical.
vertically aligned.
Yeah.
It will be vertical. If I put a S tag, then
It's horizontal stack. It will become horizontal.
it became horizontal.
Yeah.
If I put Z stack, then what will happen? Just take a guess. This is vertical, this is horizontal. If what is left? What is Z? Z is one on top of another. See,
Okay.
see. Okay.
Where it is?
See.
In the center, right?
Yeah, in the center, but see, it is one on top of another one. It is overlapping.
Okay.
You are seeing, right?
Yes. Yes.
So why do we need? So now you will say that why do we need this overlapping thing? So let's say you want to create a background image. You can't put it in V stack or H stack, right? You want this background image to be in the back, and on top of that you want a few things.
Yes, sir.
Got it, right? So in those
Yeah.
cases we'll use Z stack. Okay.
Okay.
So then let's move it back to V stack only, and then whatever we'll do it inside our V stack only. So let me first add an image. Yeah, here it is. Okay, done. Single scale. Background. Okay, done. Now what I will say, I'll go back to my content view, and I need okay, so now I need a image in the background. What can I do? What will I use?
Background jet stack.
Z, right? Okay, so then what I will do, instead of all this, no,
Okay.
I will first put a Z stack or a Z stack. Okay.
Okay, we can use the jet stack and V stack for the right, but both will be used, right? Coding part in that.
You can use both. You can use multiple V stack, multiple S stack, multiple Z stack, no problem. Okay, but just make sure that whatever you are putting it on top of another is inside Z stack. So I'll explain you. So let's say Z stack. Okay, inside this I want a background image, correct?
Okay.
And then I need this thing, a globe and a hello world, right? So what first I will do, I'll take this whatever it was, I'll put it inside Z stack.
Okay.
So first I'll do this. So now it came.
Yeah.
Now I will say I want one more thing, and these two things should overlap. So when this V stack and this one more thing should overlap. So what I can say is I now want a background image. Okay. So
Okay.
all I can say is image. No, I don't need image view and all of that. Okay. Now whatever is the name. So name I think I've given as background. See, done.
We can do that directly in the properties, right? And the background image, and after that we can write that name only.
Correct. So this is basically image is something like just our image view in UI kit, and then this is my image name,
Okay.
and this image and this V stack both are inside a Z stack.
Okay.
Okay. Now let me do one thing. Let me open login screen. iOS images. Okay. So here, can you tell me in H stack, Z stack, and V stack terms? Can you explain me how this is designed? This screen.
First we declare the jet stack.
Okay.
After that, vertical.
In Z stack, maybe you can put this part you can do in the Z stack, because this is going to be in the background.
Yes, background only.
Then you will have a V stack,
V stack.
because all of this is vertically aligned, right?
Yes, vertical line.
Right. Then this is the text, this is the text, this is the text field, this is the text field, this is a button. Then
And
again,
label.
label and then this. Now you will see that there is some spacing between this, right?
Yeah.
So we can use padding for that. How much padding you need for get password? There is something called geometry reader also. If you want very specific X Y frame and all, okay, we can use geometry reader also, which I will cover later. But basically, firstly you need to understand these are the three concepts that will actually be mostly used: Z stack, V stack, and H stack. So you really need to understand. Just open any thing and then you can just think from those terms. Okay, what basically it is. Sometimes there will be, see, this is a very, again, a very good example. Okay, here can you see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now can you explain here?
First one, this one, right? First one.
No, second one, this one.
Second one, we are not using here background.
Okay,
So only we can declare on the V stack.
okay,
And this is the label,
okay. Text field,
text field,
text field,
and
button.
label.
Let button because you'll click on forget password, no? So it is
Okay,
button.
button. And this one also button.
Okay.
And these both are all button only.
So
Label, button.
okay. So then I can just add these in VStack only, right?
Yes, V stack only.
Then login with will come. Then F will come below. Then G will come below because you are putting everything in a VStack.
G will come below, sir.
Hmm?
G will come below.
No, but I don't want below. No. If you will put everything in VStack, then login with will come here. Then F will go down because you are saying that you need vertically aligned. Then G will come again down. Got it, no?
Yes, sir. Yeah, here we after that we'll be used on H stack.
Correct. So we will use edge stack for these
H
three
stack.
things.
Yeah, three.
These three
Yes.
things. Okay, and then at this edge stack will be inside this V stack.
Yes.
Got it, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is basically what we have. We can have V stack inside edge stack, edge stack inside V stack. All of that we can do. Okay.
Dot padding only. This is the spacing, right? Here we can declare.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this padding basically is how much space you want. If you see a button, right? How much space you want in this padding from all corners. So this left, right, top and bottom. You can also put padding specifically to corners. Let's say you want padding only to your left and right. You don't want top. All of that also you can do.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have this. Now we don't want this hello world and this image. What we want is, firstly, we want a label. Okay, at the top. So then let's put a label. Where is it? We don't want okay, yeah, so we want a V stack. Let me see if I have a screenshot. So basically screenshot is just there is one label, there is one more label here, and there is one location thing. Yeah, okay. So inside V stack I'll put three text. Okay, we will remove this one, text 1, text 2, text 3. All of this is inside a V stack.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have so basically I have three text. Now if you want, let's say these two, the above two I want at the top, but the below hello world I want at the bottom. Okay, so then how can I do? So then there is something called spacer. So I can use a spacer. See, so what will happen?
It will be
A space will be added between my top and my bottom. Okay.
Okay.
Now this has gone off
Yeah.
the screen. So here I need to say that how much padding I need.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say padding, let's say 50. Okay, what happened? 200. Okay, so then basically, so this is what 300. See, so what I'm saying is padding. Okay, so can you tell me now this padding is applied to which thing? Where am I
Last
applying?
one.
Padding is
La-
applying to which thing?
Last one.
To the entire V stack.
Okay.
So this bracket is ending, right? And then I'm doing, so this will be applicable to whatever is below this. So above I have V stack, a whole V stack, right? So this padding is being applied to the whole of V stack.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I say, what I'll say is 200. So then I want, see, this padding and this padding. Okay.
Okay.
So now overall I need 200. So now I have two labels at the top, which is basically going to be my temperature. So let's say I need 23 degrees, option 0 Celsius. Okay, at the top.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's say I need something like mostly cloudy or something. Maybe I can put here mostly cloudy. Okay. And then below I need a location. So anything, let's say Bangalore. Fine. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, then I have a lot of attributes that I can use per view. So if it is a V stack, I can use a couple of attributes. If it is a text, I can use a couple of attributes. Okay, even just like UI kit. So in UI kit also, in text you were able to set fonts and all, right?
Yeah.
Similarly here also we can do, but all of the whatever we'll do here, we'll do programmatically, not from storyboard. Okay, so now we have this text, we can set a font just like how we used to do earlier. Okay, so font, if you remember, there is system font and there is custom font, right?
Yes.
So if you want, you can use system font. Okay, or you can use custom font. Okay, so in custom, let me remove this, this will make screen bigger. So now I can say that I need a custom font. So usually we were using Helvetica or something. We can use any, you can just give a name. Okay, I can use American typewriter, but you can use anything. Okay, and then size, let's give any standard size, let's give 60, because I want that 23 degrees to be a bit big.
Okay.
Okay, and then again I need some text color. In UIKit you used to give text color. Here we'll give a foreground color. Okay, sorry. So now I can give, so okay, now my question, these two are applied to which view?
I'm not getting these two.
These two are applied to which thing, which one? Is it being applied to V stack, or is it applying to all the views where it is applying?
No, we stack only for the first one, text.
Yeah, exactly, you are right. So for the text I am putting, so whenever this thing comes, no, this is applicable just on this particular view.
Yeah, first one. Yeah, 20.
Okay, view component. So now this text I am applying these two. Okay, similarly let's apply the same.
After a text, whatever you declare the text or label, below we can give the foreground anything, right? In the size, color.
Anything, any, correct. So then whenever I am saying text dot, so this is applying to this.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to text dot. Okay.
Okay, see, so now again text dot, and then let's say this one I will make it, let's say 40 or something, or
Here we
maybe
are not declare any for the string for no, right? Only we can write directly for the using the string for the text colon inside the we can directly give the name, right?
that's it. So it is not something like label we used to do, right? Label dot text,
Yes.
correct? No
So
need,
before
just
we are
text.
declare the var name equal to data types, right? For the declare the model.
That you will still need. So let's say this anyway will not be hard coded, right? So this thing
Okay.
anyway you will need to get the data. That part you will need. You will be storing these in variables, and you will be getting these values from a view model. So all of that will be same. My MVVM, my Swift concepts, whatever you have seen, everything will be same. Just the designing part will change.
Okay.
Okay, and also how the view model and view are associated with each other. Okay, you see, it is very interesting. So we will also see how dynamic programming is working. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, one by one. So now we have added our text. I have added here also mostly cloudy. Let's put for Bangalore also we can put same similar. Okay, so for Bangalore also we have put done. So now we are done. That's it. So if this thing, if you have to do in UI kit, just think about it, how much time you will take. Here, you just added some 3-4 lines of code and then it is done. In UI kit, you will have to first go to your storyboard. Storyboard again, it is a very big file.
Yeah.
Okay, if you will see, if you are on a slower laptop, storyboard, opening storyboard and going to view controller, then again coming to storyboard, it takes some time,
Yes.
because storyboard is a very huge file. Storyboard, what happens, another issue with storyboard is, see, you may be asked this interview question, what is the problem with storyboard, why do we need Swift UI? Storyboard is just fine, right?
Okay.
So if you are working in a team, which you will be in a company, and let's say in this screen two people are working on, there is no way in storyboard you can resolve the conflicts. You both will get conflicts in storyboard, and it is almost impossible to resolve, because storyboard is in XML.
Yes.
You cannot resolve. So I'm not sure if earlier you had issues with conflicts and all in Git, but this is a very common issue in when you are working in a large team, Git conflicts and all. So firstly, the storyboard is not required, so no longer those XMLs and all. You will not get any conflicts. This is just plain code, and then it is lighter, it is faster. Okay, then you have a preview. So see, I did not even run it once. I'm just checking where how my view is going to look like, correct?
Yeah.
So even my time is being saved here, and it is
Yeah.
very easy, very simple. Okay, just that in Swift UI, what I am struggling with currently is to remember what are the things we have. That will take some
Yeah.
time, right? So
Yes.
there are Swift UI documentations by Apple provided documentations, which we'll refer. No need to remember anything, because if you'll remember anyway, you will forget. So
Yes.
just know that there is a documentation available for every component. So let's say text, you can actually see what are the different things that you can do with the text.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, see, this is the extension text, right? Text.
Yeah.
These are the things that you can do with text. So you don't have to remember a single thing. Okay, see, foreground color we are using.
Yes.
Correct, we just gave a color to foreground. See, all of these things, extension text, inside this everything is there. So you can actually see from the here it's starting, right? So now one by one you can just see these are the documentation. Okay, so you can just go through the documentation. Lot of things will not use. So currently we are using foreground color and we are using font.
Okay.
Correct, so similar. Okay, there is something called font weight also. Something like I need bold, right? I
Okay.
need medium. That we have bold also. You can just say dot bold. It will turn into bold.
Okay.
See, so this documentation is very important. Okay, see, italic, font design, many things are there. Okay, let's go back then. Okay, so now this is done. I have my view which is designed. Now there is a concept called okay, so in UI kit, do you remember what view did load will do? What is view did load?
We did load. We call the for in this next screen for that calling that
Sorry.
when you launch the application, it will load the values in that.
Correct. So view did load is actually called on launch.
Yes.
Correct. So whenever this view is launched, I am basically calling my view did load. Now here we have something called on appear. So here this is my parent view, right? So what
Yes.
I'm saying is whenever my parent view is going to appear, do something. So I can say on appear. See, here I can do anything. Print fetch weather data. So just like your view did load, we have something called on appear. Okay.
Okay.
So now if I'll run this, as soon as this view will be launched, this will get printed. Here this is where we will actually implement my fetching part. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, fine. So then this part is done. We have on appear. Now let's quickly go back and see what basically is REST API. So I'll go back weather bit. Okay, no, let's say JSON placeholder. Okay, again, this is very important. Okay, please listen very carefully. Okay, this is very important. What is REST API? So basically, what happens is, and what do we even need these APIs and all? So let's say I have some backend systems. Okay, you are working on an iOS application. I am working on an Android application. Someone else is working on a website. My backend systems is just one. I will not create multiple backend systems for multiple client facing products. Okay. So now you tell me, what if in Swift I may use Swift for iOS, Kotlin for Android, and Angular for my web. So each of these will have different languages.
Yes.
Each language will have different way to create objects.
Yes.
They'll have different integers. Different, everything will be different.
Yes.
The storage mechanism will be different. The primitive types will be different. The syntax will be different. The way they store objects is going to be different. So I cannot just send a Swift object from a backend to front end, correct? Agree?
Yes, sir.
I cannot create a Swift object and I can send it to my front end, because then what Android will do? Right? Android will need Kotlin. So what we can do is, we have something called a JSON format. Okay. So whenever I'm sending JSON and XML, so whenever I'm sending any data from backend to front end, I am using JSON format to send. So the data format is actually JSON. Okay. Now if you will see, let's see this. How I see. So this is how my JSON is going to look like. Just plain and simple, just key value pair, nothing else.
Okay.
Now this is just a text, some key value pair is there. Now my Angular, Kotlin, my Swift, anyone can just use this. And then see, this is not a dictionary type, this is just some key value pair. Now every platform will have their own way to parse this JSON.
Yes.
Okay, so this is basically my JSON, and 99.9% time you will be using JSON only. XML is very rarely used. Okay. Then, so this is basically my JSON. What is JSON?
JSON is the key value.
JSON is a data format. So data is the data format. It is, I think it is called JavaScript object notation. JSON full form. It is JavaScript object notation. Yeah. So basically, it is basically a data format which is used to send data across platforms. Okay. So then we have JSON. Then let's go back. So my REST API is going to send the data in JSON. Now what basically is my REST API? So REST API is basically, again, it is just a transfer protocol. How am I going to send data or transfer data from one platform to another platform? That protocol is basically a REST protocol. So what basically it happens is, in REST there are multiple methods that is exposed. So in REST there is get, post, put, delete, lot of things are there. Okay, what is get?
Get will be receive the data.
Correct. What is post?
It is the send the data.
Correct. You're absolutely right. Post will send the data to update in the backend. Let's say a user is let's say in our priority application, you created some priority, right? Now if I want to send those priorities to the backend, I will use post.
Post. Yes.
Okay. If I want to get the priorities for a user, I'll use get. Okay.
Okay.
What is put?
Inside the will be.
Sorry, insert.
No.
So put basically is something like an update. So put will do is, if there is something existing, you update, otherwise create. Okay. So again, these are very common questions on REST and all. Put versus post. Okay. So basically, see what it is saying is, put request multiple times will always produce the same result. Why? because put means what? Update. So
Okay.
let's say I am updating a priority. Now if I am, and if it is existing, it will keep updating, it will not create a new one.
Okay.
Okay, but post will create a new one.
New one.
Okay, so post is if you set multiple. See, so what happens is, if, for put, if I'm calling 100 times, it will, there will be no impact, right? Because I already have the data. But if it is post, it will create 100 entries.
Okay.
Got it? No, post and put.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then we have get, and then we have delete. Delete is nothing but delete from the SQL. Okay, it will delete from the database. So basically, I have my REST, then I have my JSON. Now we are going to. Now what I want you to do is, after today's session, I want you to try multiple REST APIs.
Okay.
Okay, try multiple REST APIs. Try to parse. Each REST API is different. Each API is different. So you will. I want you to spend some time understanding how parsing and all works. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, okay, again one more thing. Let's see. Okay, whenever you will see a curly bracket here, right?
Okay.
I'm seeing a curly bracket here.
Yes.
This means this is a dictionary.
Dictionary. Yeah.
Okay. Now, whenever I see a square bracket, this
The
means
dictionary.
dictionary. This means
Array of the dictionary.
absolutely correct. Very good. This is an array of a dictionary. So this is my array, and these are dictionaries. So this is basically my array of dictionaries.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, so and then I think this is it. Okay. I will tell you one more trick that we use for prototype applications. I don't want you to use it. Okay, I want you to do it by yourself, but
Okay.
maybe I'll forget later, so I'm just covering this here. Okay.
Okay.
There is something called quick type.
With type. Okay.
What this will do is, let's say I have this thing, right? Just put it here, JSON. Let's call it to do. Change it to put my JSON, and you choose a language, whatever language you want. Okay, see, all languages are there. You choose Swift, and then there are a couple of things, like you can make all properties optional, because if you are, in case you are not aware, see, this is getting optional, correct?
Yes.
Then there is also something like use var instead of let. See, it changes to var. Got it? So this will actually create a data model for you.
Okay.
But please don't use it. This is just for your later reference. I want you to do it manually by yourself. Only
Yes.
then you will understand. Okay, but this is very handy. Once you understand, then I don't want you to waste your time creating these models. Okay.
Okay.
So what it is based, and don't use it in the company JSON. Use it for your personal projects, because the reason is, these JSONs and all, whatever company will provide you, right? These are all not something that you should put it on the server,
Okay.
on any other system. Okay, so this is why you can use in your personal projects, learning projects.
Okay.
So this is my JSON, and this is my data model. This is nothing but my data model, whatever we have seen so far, right? Data model.
Yes.
This is just like my data model. Your data quotes had a data manager, right? Data model and data manager. Bike application had similar. This is just my data model, where I have user ID, title, and completed.
Yes.
And then I have coding keys. Do you know what is coding keys?
No, sir.
So basically what happens is, let's say I have user ID. I may want, and then there is some ID. Okay, and then let's say completed. So instead of completed, let's say my model, I want my model to have status.
Yes.
Okay, so I can say here status, I can put here status, and I can put here status, and then this I will put which is exactly as per my JSON. So these things should be exactly as per my JSON. Otherwise, it will not work.
Okay.
And then these I can put anything to map. Again, my data type should be exactly the same. Otherwise, it will not work. Your parsing is going to fail. Okay. What is the data type of user ID? What is the data type of user ID?
Int is
Int. What is the data type of title?
string.
What is the data type of completed?
Boolean.
See?
Yes.
Okay. It has to be exactly the same. Okay. Otherwise, it will not work. So now what? And then let's try one more thing. Let's select. Let's go back. Okay. So now what you will see is my this entire thing is an array of dictionary.
Yes.
Correct. So what it did, firstly it created to do. To do is nothing but an array of dictionary,
Dictionary.
and to do element is nothing but one by one my part.
Okay.
So I can use to do here as a parent.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see, we'll do it manually, but just this is something just to give you an idea. Okay. Okay, so now this is done, this is done. Let's remove all this. Now we have understood REST, we have understood JSON, we have understood to create models. We will create a model. So let's go. I have weather bit. There are many APIs that you can use for live data for anything. Okay, so I'm using weather. You don't have to use weather. You can use anything. Even if you use weather, you don't have to use weather bit. You can use anything. Okay, whenever and in the back end, whenever there is a backend system, right, they will always give you documentation on the APIs.
Yes.
So first thing what I will do, I'll go to weather APIs, I'll say current weather, and see this is the documentation. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is telling me that this is my HTTP and this is my HTTPS URL. So this is basically my URL. Supported method is get, means
What is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS?
just the security. So now you cannot use HTTP in your iOS projects. Apple will reject your application when you will submit in the App Store.
Okay.
HTTPS is secure. So now, and this is basically how your services are deployed in the backend. So you should be using HTTPS. You cannot use HTTP now. Okay. So we will use HTTPS URL. Then supported method is get, which means get means
Yeah, we'll get the data on them.
we are fetching the data. We are not sending anything, we are getting. Okay,
Yes.
so
Okay.
we are using get. Then it accepts, it is asking you some parameters.
Okay.
It is asking you to give some API key, and then it is asking you what language you want. Default is English, so it is not really something that you have to give. Then units, again default is metrics, which is Celsius. If you want in Fahrenheit, you can give units as I. Okay, so these are the parameters. You need to pass parameter key, you need to pass parameter lang, and you need to pass parameter units.
Okay.
And units is optional, language is optional,
Okay.
key is required.
Keys.
Makes sense, right? Got it?
Yes, sir.
So now we will see. Let's see. I think I have one API. Let me first show you in browser. Sorry. Supply parameters. Where is this? API. Okay, and then if you come down, there are some API endpoints. Okay, so this is all about the current weather only. So this is my base URL. Okay, then these are some parameters, and then there are endpoints. So what do you want? You want the current weather of which you need for a city, you need for a latitude, longitude of a location. What basically you want by a postal code. There are multiple endpoints that you have. Okay, we
Okay.
will be using our latitude and longitude. Okay, so do you know how to get latitude longitude of the user?
Yes, sir. We are
Using which framework you will do?
core location.
Correct. So using core location, you can get users latitude longitude, and then
Yes.
once you get that, you can put it in this request, and then you can fetch weather of that of his location. Okay.
Yeah.
So now if you see here, this is my API current. Okay. So this is basically my current. Can you see this, or this is too small?
This is too small. I'm not able to see.
Okay, no problem. See here. Can you see here?
Yes.
See, from here to here, this is my base URL.
Okay.
Okay, current is what I'm trying to fetch. Current. So current is my endpoint.
Okay.
These are the parameters. After question mark, I have my parameters. So after question mark, I am saying these are basically my query parameters. So I'm saying
Okay.
latitude is 12.97. This is basically Bangalore's latitude, and longitude is 77 point itna, which is Bangalore's longitude, and then key. This is my API key. You can
Okay.
get your own API key.
Yes.
Okay, because in one day you can only make some 55 requests.
Okay.
Okay, so create your 55 requests in a day. So I will you can go to weatherbit and you can register and create your own API key.
Okay.
Okay, now so basically API key is used for authentication, authorization, making sure that how many API calls are there for particular user. For those things they are using API keys. Okay,
Okay.
so then this is fine. Okay, so now this is my weather bit which we are going to use. Okay, so now this is my URL. So now just like our earlier applications, I'll go back here, and firstly let's change the name first. Let's change it to weather view.
Okay.
Now there is nothing called weather view here. This will be weather, my view will be weather view, and here also it will be weather view.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Then we have weather app. Yeah, this is not fine. I'll just say weather app as my file name. I will also make this weather app. Okay, and then this will also be my weather view. Okay,
Okay.
now let's run and let's build and just see if there is no issues. Okay, no issues. Let's also run it once just to see that my UI is proper. Done. This is fine,
Yes.
and it is printing fetch weather data also on a pair.
Yeah.
Okay, so now everything is as expected till now. Now what we will do, we will create a weather model. Okay, so let's create a new file. We'll say weather model create. Okay, now weather model is going to be my data model where what we have seen. I'll say weather model.
Weather model.
Okay, now this should be exactly as per your weather JSON that we are going to get.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so basically if I'll make this request many times, right, then I'm just worried that I will make this 55 times and then this will go. But let's see, let's do it one more time. Okay, now there is something called, I'll copy this part and then I'll say JSON placeholder. There is another very cool just not placeholder, JSON formatter, because this is very hard to read, right, and
Yes.
hard to understand, so we'll use JSON formatter. Let's go here, let's put our JSON and let's process. Fine.
Yes.
Now here you can see what is this.
I'm not able. The curly braces.
So what does this mean? Dictionary.
Yes, dictionary.
Okay,
Dictionary of array of the dictionary. Dictionary. I think.
No, so okay, so this is a dictionary. Dictionary has two key value pair. Count one.
Okay, two,
Data.
yes,
Data has
array,
array of.
dictionary.
Correct. Got it, no?
Yes,
So the
understood.
whole thing is dictionary, and then my data is an array of dictionary.
Count one, again will the count, okay.
Got it?
Yes,
You can ignore whatever data you don't need.
okay.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. So now I'll go back to my. So this is basically, and based on this only, we are going to create our model. Okay, and I want
Okay,
you to create this manually, and please see and then practice a couple of JSONs. Okay,
okay.
I'll go. So this is basically my reference point to create my model. I'll change it here. I will, let's put like side by side like this. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is my dictionary, and my first thing is data. See, inside data I have the city name, app temp and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So now my inside. So firstly I need to fetch my data. Correct.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So then I will say let data. Okay. Colon. And then this is what array of dictionary.
Yes. I
So
have the
array
dictionary.
will put like this,
Yeah.
and then inside again one dictionary is there, right? So whenever
Yeah.
you will see one more dictionary, leave this as is and then create that dictionary.
Oh,
So let's say you can call it as data. So this is data, right? Data.
yeah.
So I'll say data model. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going inside data. Now inside data, and then I can put here data model. See,
Okay.
understood?
Understood.
Understood, no?
Huh.
Okay. Now
Understood.
I'm inside this data. Data is basically my array of dictionaries. Okay. So now let's. Okay. So what my data is containing? What are the things that I need? I need app temperature.
Yes.
Okay. So and this is an array, no? So here we have put array. Okay. So now
Yeah.
I can create my data dictionary. So now my app temperature. So I'll say let temperature. What is the data type?
Double.
Very good. It needs to be exactly correct. Okay. Otherwise it will not work. Double. Then let, and here I am not putting exact name. I can put anything.
Okay.
Okay. Ideally I should put. So ideally I should copy and paste. Okay. First let me do this. Then I'll explain you the coding keys. Then we need city name, right?
Yes.
Just copy. Let's it in. Data type is
String.
string. What else? What else we need? What else we need? We need. See, we need description. Clear sky.
Yes.
Can you tell me how to do? I will be very happy if you can tell.
Description, right? This is the weather dictionary again, right?
Yes, you are right.
Mm,
If this description was inside this only, then we can directly put.
yes,
But
we
this is
can.
weather, then inside dictionary. So you tell me how to do. If you will tell, I'll be very happy.
Other we can create a struct weather.
A new struct, huh?
Yes.
Okay, struct. Let's call
Weather
it weather model.
weather model inside the we can description
Okay, very
like
good. Very good. Very good. Data type is string, correct?
data type string.
And then where are we going to use this?
We can multiple data.
Okay, just say
We
weather. Yeah, tell me. Or one second. Let's
here
this keep it weather and this keep it with model. Ha, tell me.
uh, before we had already we had declared the dictionary right, array of the dictionary, right? So in that we can give one more weather model for the
Where? Line
for
number?
data line number 11. We declare the let data colon, right?
Correct.
Inside the comma and weather model, I think. Or otherwise we can create one more like
Okay, I got it. So you are saying like this.
yes.
No.
We can create one more let
No,
data.
no. We don't have to create one more data. Data is just one.
Okay.
See.
No.
We'll see. So now inside data we have app temp is app temp.
Yes, insert
City
data.
name is city name.
Yeah.
Come down. We have weather also, right? It is all inside the same thing. If I reduce the font, you'll actually see that
It is
everything
a
is inside the same thing.
same only. Okay.
So I will say weather is basically inside my this
Insert
thing
data
where we have app temp and all.
app. Okay.
Okay, so we'll say let weather. What will the data type of weather?
Array of amount.
See, what will be the data type here? What should I enter here?
This is a dictionary, is there?
So this is a dictionary. You already created a structure for that dictionary.
Yes.
So what should I put here?
We can data type with string only.
No, weather model, no? We created, no? See?
Yes, yes, yeah, yes. We create already one model. Yeah.
And then weather model has description.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, yes.
Got it easy?
Yes, yes, yes.
We want this parsing, we want to use we want to make use of another protocol called codable.
Codable.
Okay, codable means it will help us decode and encode our JSON automatically. I will show you the power of codable, but while we are doing parsing. But just understand, whenever you will create any data model, which where you will getting data from the JSON, always use codable. Okay, so I will everything should be codable.
Codable.
Codable will actually help us to decode our JSON easily. In one line of code you can do it, otherwise you'll have to do it manually. Okay, we will see this when we'll parse, we'll see codable. Okay,
Yeah.
you understood this part?
Yes, sir.
Just one small thing, what we will do, we will create a coding keys. So here I don't want app underscore, these things I don't want. Okay, so what I can do is I can create coding keys. So enum coding keys, which is of type string and coding key, and then I can put one by one the case. So these will be the case. So case will be my app temp equal to now I can put here anything. I can put temperature, and I can say temperature is app temp.
Okay.
Got it, no? So now I don't have to use the exact names in my data model.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
now I can use anything I want. So I can now in the city name I'll say just city, because my data model, I want my data model to look proper.
City. Yes.
And then my weather is just weather. These are exactly the names of my from coming from my JSON.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So then I have my codable, and then the model does want to, this is fine, no problem. I'll just want to put here also codable. Okay, so this coding keys I will just put it here also. Let data. So same thing, I can just copy paste. I don't need these two. I just need data is data, and then just copy, and then you can just put it here. Description is description. Okay,
Okay.
got it easy? Nothing is there?
No, sir.
Very easy, right? Okay. Just one thing, why does it give this error? Data is data model. Data model does not conform to encodable. Why double weather model? Weather model is also codable. String data model. What is wrong here? Ah, city name. No, it is should be city. So temperature, city and weather. Temperature, city and weather. Okay. Let's build once. Okay, build is succeeded. Now and always have a habit of keep building. Okay, so that you don't get surprises at the end. Okay. Now my data model is completed. Any questions in my data model?
No, sir.
You will be able to create your own data models, right? based on the
Yeah.
JSON.
Yes,
So
sir.
in whenever you need to try, just use this site called JSON placeholder. Go to this one. Here you will get a list of see, these are all REST APIs.
Okay.
Okay, just practice these 6 REST APIs.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So then we have this. We have here. We have got the data. Then finally, so now we don't need all of that. Okay, now what is the next step? In my MVVM, we used to create a view model, correct?
Yes.
So we'll create a view model. Weather view model. Create. Okay. I'll create class weather view model. Okay. Now here, whatever in my view model, whatever data my view will need, I will create those data. So I'll say var temperature temperature data type is string. I will for everything I will use string only. Here only I will do all of that formatting and all, and I will give it to the view to just display. If you remember, what is the role of view model? To write the business logic, correct?
Yes.
What is the role of view? To just display. So that is what we are going to follow. Then I say temperature description, or I can just say description, or maybe temp description is better. This is also a string, and then I have my city name, right? So city name is also a string. These 3 are the data that my view is required, correct? View need these 3 data, correct? What are the data view needs? View need the temperature, the description, and the city name, correct?
Yes.
These data I have put it in my view model. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have my URL. So now we will see how we will get the data from my URL. So I can just say private. What is private?
Only access on the file.
No, that is file private.
Yeah.
This is an interview question. File private is you can access within a file. Private
Within
means you can access within that context. So this private is here, no? I can only access within this class.
within the class. Okay.
But same file can have multiple classes also, right?
Yes.
So this is why file private is separate and private is separate. Okay. This is like access modifiers is a very common interview question.
Yeah.
Okay, you learn about all the access specifiers. Okay, so now we have this URL. Now, if you remember in our codes data manager, we created a function called fetch get speakers, correct?
Yes.
Get cars in your car. Similarly, we will write get weather data, or just maybe current weather, something, whatever your wish. Okay, current weather. Okay, now func. Okay, now here we are going to fetch the weather. My do you know about asynchronous and synchronous?
Yes. Synchronous.
What is asynchronous and what is synchronous?
Order the function in order.
Okay, so asynchronous means if I have to make an API call, okay, just understand this. Let's say I'm using an application, okay. Now, if I have to make an API call might take some time to respond to return the response.
Yeah.
If I use synchronous, that will block the main thread. It will stop all the activity, and it will go to fetch the weather data. So your UI will not work because the OS is now busy. The application is now busy fetching the weather data. Asynchronous means I am saying that do it. So basically, it is about thread. So this is my main thread. Everything whatever you're doing is in the main thread. All the UI updates is happening on the main thread. If I do in the synchronous, then on the main thread you will make the API call. There is just one thread. So then your UI will get blocked. Asynchronous means you will create some task on a background thread. And then once that time taking thing is done, then you can go back to the main thread. It is just like in Bangalore you have main lane and service lanes, right?
Yes.
So the main lane is fast moving.
Yes.
Okay, you don't want to block. Let's say if there is a trolley, you don't want him to be on the main lane to block everyone. I will say go to the service lane.
Yes.
Okay, because it is time taking. And then once you are done, you can, once you have to exit or something, or once you have to deliver some goods, you can come to the main lane. So similarly here, I am saying that I have my main thread where I want to do UI updates, and then whenever this is a time taking thing, no, I'll say go to the background thread, which is nothing but a service lane here in our context. So I'll say go to the background thread, do your task, and then once you are done with this task, send me this data to the main thread. Okay, so we will see how that works. So any API call is an synchronous, it should be synchronous or asynchronous. Any API call should be synchronous or should be asynchronous.
Asynchronous.
Very good. It should be asynchronous. So I'll say async. Okay.
Okay.
Now your API call, can it throw some error, or can you say that it will always be successful only? Is it possible that this will throw some error?
I'm not getting, sir.
Is it possible for an API call to throw an error? So let's say there is network connectivity issue.
Yeah.
There are many ways, right? Let's say the network itself is very slow, so you cannot guarantee that you will always get the data.
Yeah.
Even if you get the data, you cannot guarantee that the data will be in the correct format. The parsing will be successful. So there are many chances that this function can throw errors.
Okay.
Correct? So I will say throws,
Okay.
because there is a chance that current weather can throw error.
Okay.
Okay, so we will see, async throws everything, how basically we are using. Okay, so now what we will do, so now you understood what is func, what is async, what is throws, correct?
Yes.
Now we'll go inside. Firstly, I have to create a URL object from my URL. Okay, so I'll say if let URL equal to URL request, or maybe just URL first, URL, and then pass my URL, weather URL. Fine. This is done. Then I will say, so my URL I have created. Then I will say let request is equals to, okay, we'll do one by one, so that I think it will be better. Okay, so first I am creating URL object from URL string. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, then I am creating my URL request from URL request, and I'll pass the URL, which is my URL.
Okay.
Request slash the condition ending, it will request was never used, not URL request. Acha, URL request we don't need optional. So then we'll go here. Well, let's remove this. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Okay. Now next step is to create a URL request object from URL. Let request is equals to URL request, pass the URL. Okay.
Okay.
So firstly I created my I had my API in string, so I created URL from that string, and then from that URL I created URL request.
Okay.
Easy, right?
Yes.
Okay, then I will make that API call, that's all. So then next step, fetch data from request. So my data is going to be stored in, okay, let's make this big. Okay, my data, do you remember the concept of tuple?
Yes, sir.
So we will use a tuple here. Okay, so let data and response equal to, now whenever we are using throws, right, basically we are saying that you try to fetch the data and see if it is successful. Okay, and then we are saying that once you are getting this data, you wait until you, so this particular data and response will wait until the data is fetched. So I'll say try await, and then I'll say url session dot shared dot data, and then data with request, it should be with yeah, with request. So with request, and then here I can say my whatever my data, data, okay, like this. Okay, 1 second, data, yeah, this one data for, and then request. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is you fetch this data from this request, and then I'm using await here because once the data is, once it is able to fetch the data, it will then store it to data and response. What is the difference between data and response? Response is nothing but I will have my status codes and also response will have 200, you know, right? There are the response codes. 200 means success, 401 means unauthorized. In, let's say you are accessing some website, you might get some 401 or 4, no, 404. You might have seen page not found. Correct. So these are basically my response codes. These are common response codes which we have for any API. Okay, so now we have my, and data will actually have my data. Okay, so now so this part is done. Now I can just use my data to decode my so I will use my data to decode it to my data model. Okay, so what I will say let weather model is equals to try JSON decoder dot decode, and I can just tell what is my data model, and then it will decode it. That's all. So I think my data model is weather. Yes, weather dot self, and then from which data, this data. So what this line of code will do, this line of code will take my data whichever it has downloaded from the internet, which is in a JSON format, and it will put it inside my weather.
Okay.
It will decode my data and it will put it inside my weather. That's all. Okay, once I have got my weather model, it is now very simple. I can just print and I can just see that weather model. Is it optional or what have you kept? Okay, we have kept it as not optional, so I think this is fine. I'll go back to my view model, and then if you see, I can just print it, weather model dot data dot. Okay, how can I get my temperature value from my weather? So weather has data, right?
Yes.
Okay, so weather has data, so I can say weather dot data.
Data.
Then what can I do?
Temperature.
Dot temperature.
Yeah.
Can I do? What the data type of data is? An array of data model.
Array of data model.
So I can't use it. So I will first have to use first to get the first element. Then I can say temperature. Temperature, city, and then data dot weather dot description. Got it? And then maybe we can just put it like this for optional. Okay, response I'm not using. I can use response like this. If response dot response has status codes. So if response or okay, or for now we can just ignore response. I think we can just put this. Let's build first. Okay, build succeeded. I am not going to print it because I am hoping that data will get. If I'll print it again, it will have one more API call. So we will run it at the end. Okay, I'm just building it. So now this is done. Now just the last part, okay, just one last concept for today. We have something called so if you remember in my view controller and view model earlier in my previous applications, I used to call the function from view controller fetch data. Fetch data used to return me some data from my view model, correct?
Yes.
Now in SwiftUI you don't have to do all of that. So you can just, so there is something called property observers or a publisher concept. So I can just publish some data from my view controller, view model, and my view can just listen to it.
Okay.
Okay, so how it works is basically it is very simple. I can just say that my this class is there, no? I will say that this is an observable object, which means that anyone can observe the changes of the view model.
Okay.
Any view can observe the changes of my view model. Understood? So if there is a change in the temperature, if there is change in the description, anyone who is conforming to this view model, right, will get the value.
Okay.
Okay, so now I have created this one observable object. Just one thing, it is not really required, but I'm just telling you, I don't want this particular temperature to be updated by anyone else. I want this to be updated only by the view model. Okay, so there is a way I can say that I can make the setter as private. This is just a best practice. Okay, you can avoid it, but I like to have it. This means that my setter is private, which
Yes.
means that my view model can only set these values and nobody else.
What is meant by setter, sir?
Setter means who can set this data, set the value. Who can set the temperature? Only my view model can set the temperature. I don't want anybody else to set the temperature. I want my other views to get the temperature,
Okay.
but don't set it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so then we have this also, then we have made this as an observable, and then finally we have created this temperature description city name, right? So here instead of doing this, I can say temperature. I can just set those values. Okay, temperature is this. Then I have my temperature description. Temperature description is this, and then I have my city name. Acha, no, it is. Acha, no. Acha, acha. Okay, there is some typo here. Let's delete this. Okay, temperature description. So city name is basically my description is this, and this is city name. Okay, fine, and then let's remove these. Okay, what is the data type of temperature?
The weather model.
Temperature, no, temperature. What is the data type of temperature? Temperature is the data that I'm getting. Temperature is double.
Double.
Correct?
Yeah.
So I'll go back here and I can just say temperature. I'll use string interpolation.
Yes.
And then I can see here option Celsius. So then basically this will print as degree Celsius. Okay, and then here better let's use if let only weather weather equal to weather model dot data dot first, and then I think this is fine. I think it should be fine. Weather weather weather. Now I don't need this. Okay, fine. I just cleaned up so that I'm using optional here. Okay, fine. That's all. Nothing else. I'll just go back. So now my view model is completed. Now all I have to do is in my view, I just need to use this value. So in my view model, I've created this. I have told that this is an observable object, right?
Yeah.
Means that anyone can observe the changes of a view model, right? So now here in my view, what I can say is just outside my body. Okay, outside my body I will create a state object. So whatever I want to observe, now this view wants to observe the changes in the view model, correct?
Yes.
So I'll say state object var private var my view model equal to my view model, whatever is my view model name. What is my view? Yeah, view model. Fine, done. And then here here instead of my wherever I'm hard coding, right? I'm hard coding here, right? I can just say view model dot temperature.
Okay.
View model dot description. View model dot city name. Got it?
Yes.
Easy, right?
Yes.
Okay, just one thing here. Okay, I think it is optional. It is completely about optional, I think. I think this should be fine. Okay. Now on a pair. If we are printing on a pair, right, what we should do in on a pair? What we should do in on a pair?
We need to on a pair. We call the this one whether.
Correct. We'll call this function just
Yes,
like
yes.
we used to do in
Yeah,
here.
correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we'll go in my on a pair, and then we will just call this function. So because this is an asynchronous function, I'll again just say try await, and then my view model dot get weather. Okay.
Get weather.
Okay. Get weather view model dot get weather, and all of this inside main. So whatever any UI updates and all should happen on the main thread, right? So I will have to put is as a task like this inside the task.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's run this. Where is my simulator? Here. Okay. Okay, it there is some error. What is the error? Unsupported URL. Whether URL is an unsupported URL. Why? Private let whether URL. This is the URL that should work. What is unsupported URL? Unsupported URL. What is this? Unsupported URL means
You can just paste on the just check whether.
I'm getting the data or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do. I just I don't want to make one more API call. So but yeah, I will do that. Just one second. Why exactly I'm having this unsupported URL? Yeah, you are right. Let's do that. Let's see. Yeah, unsupported URL. And task kitna unsupported URL, weather URL. So there is some issue. It's saying in weather underscore URL here. What is my URL? Underlying error domain CF network. I should not get unsupported URL. My view model. This is also, yeah, it says that unsupported URL means that it is not able to fetch using this URL. Oh shit! Yeah. Do you got the error? You got that?
Yes, we are will getting the string. Yeah.
Just a typo. Okay, let's see. It is not updating. Object observable. This is my view model. Okay. Why it is not updating? Okay, just one thing is there, but I'm not really sure if that is the. Let me see. I will just create an extension as we used to do earlier.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is the thing, but let's do it. We'll put it inside my weather view extension. And then get weather, try await get weather. And then once it gets the weather, it will come here. Okay, where is this? I'm calling this on a pair. Let's try. This is also correct. A state object, private var, and then all of this is fine. Maybe I'll add some logs and all, and then maybe it will help us understand. Let's put a breakpoint and let's check what is happening. Okay, so now at this point, this will be empty only, there will be nothing. Then it will fetch the get weather. I will go here. Let's see. Okay, my temperature. So temperature, city name and description. So pure temperature. Okay, 25.9 degrees, which is fine. Get city name, should be Bangalore. Okay, and then temperature description. Temp description. clear sky. Okay, so I'm getting the data.
Yeah.
Okay, there is, I think, just some issue in updating it and in just displaying. Okay, so maybe I'll check this once. It might take some time, so I'll just check this why it is not coming. But this is fine. So we are able to get the data, and then we are able to show it here. Okay, in my view model. Just this display part, I'll just check once. Okay, why it is not? I think that there is something like published or something that is not coming. I will just one last thing I'll try. So here in my weather view model, I'll just try published. So at the rate, just run it once. Okay, went there, it went here, it went there. Okay. Okay, clear sky. 25.9. Yeah, got it. Okay, so basically I'm just using published here. So published is something that basically is going to publish the data. So basically what I'm saying is in my view model, I am publishing these values. Anybody who is interested in the changes of these values can read these values. So temperature description and city name are being published from the view model, and my view is observing the changes of my view model. Okay, fine. This is fine. So just that published was missing. I'll just move the breakpoints. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. So you give this a try, and I will give you this overview again in the next class.
Okay.
Okay, because I think that it will take some time to sink in. We have seen actually a lot of concepts today. So I will send you this project. Okay, let me stop the recording.